he's a really big hugger, and it was cool because every morning he'd just always go around to everybody and just make sure everybody was doing good. He'd go around and just be like, hey, you know, I love you.
That means that now this man should be alive and breathing. He should be asking for some air change. He should be rubbing his dog. There's no reason for him not to be doing that.
Okay, his spirit is right here.
I don't think it was justified because he wasn't a confrontational human being by any means. He was definitely like a peacemaker, you know?
I told somebody to get on Facebook.
Great to see the great turnout here in Venice. We know that it's not under the best circumstances, but you're here, you're engaged, and that is fantastic for civic engagement. The way we're hoping that tonight goes, look, we know that this is not the best of circumstances, but we're glad that everyone is here and that you're here to not only engage in the process, but really give voice to the process.
I am Marvis Davis, the servant of the New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church of Venice, California, right in the heart of Oakwood. And we here at Oakwood recognize the fact there are many woods, many trees, Hollywood, Brentwood, Westwood, but the oak is the strongest in the forest. And so tonight we're here as a community to encourage the good. We want to encourage the good, but also we want to expose the bad. And by the way, Venice is Los Angeles.
So I'm the Inspector General for the Los Angeles Police Commission. I think the most important thing to know about my position is I don't work for LAPD. I don't report to the LAPD. I'm a civilian organization that does oversight over LAPD and their entire operations. My staff is about 40 people deep, and we have access to every document, video, audio that the department has. We have access to every location. I can initiate an investigation for absolutely any reason and can't be stopped unless the police commission votes in open session. And I have the ability to go anywhere LAPD does and initiate an investigation, even compel officers to come and talk to me about any matter in my purview.
Show the video then.
So we have in our office 3 sections. And one of the sections does use of force, and that is all we look at in that section. So in this shooting, that happened, we were at the scene, we have the video, we've talked to the witness, we break it down. We actually work with the department, but also work with the district attorneys.
Where's the video?
We want to remain here to have the dialogue that we want to have tonight. All right? So, in order for that to happen, we need to have some respect for one another and our opinions.
There are many people here tonight who are eager to find someone to blame for Dizzle's death. An individual cop, law enforcement in general, all levels of government that have failed to properly address homelessness or mental health. The investigation, if done fairly and transparently, will help us determine who's to blame for the shooting that took Dizzle's life. That is the first step towards justice.
Is there a surveillance video, and if there is, how come we haven't seen it yet?
Yeah!
Number 2, what is the LAPD's policy on interviewing officers immediately after a shooting, so therefore that they can't get together and corroborate their stories after the fact?
Those are good questions. I think that Deputy Chief Kamala may address those. Or even Inspector General Bustamante. Go ahead.
Yes, I'll go ahead and address that. Immediately after an officer-involved shooting, a supervisor will respond, and the officers are immediately separated. Let me emphasize that. Immediately separated. The reason for that is that each other's comments cannot influence each other. So basically, if there's 2 officers involved, they are not allowed to speak to each other. Immediately after the event, they are separated. They are then transported to the police station, where they are monitored until Force Investigation Division investigators respond to the scene, and they again are maintaining that separation. That is absolutely in the interest of making sure that each statement is not tainted by either the memory, any type of retrospection of the other. So that separation continues throughout the process. The officers are interviewed by Force Investigation Division investigators. They do all of the interviews on officer-involved shootings, and that occurs almost immediately after the shooting. Let me finish, because I know where you're going with this. The only reason that an officer will not be immediately interviewed after an officer-involved shooting if there is some infirmity or some physical impairment which would prohibit the investigation from taking place. For example, if they're injured and medication is being taken in a situation like that, we have to wait for the effects of that to wear off to have that person interviewed.
Has this officer been interviewed yet?
I believe that investigation and that interview piece took place today. I do not have verification. Maybe Mr. Bustamante has that, but I believe it did take place today. Mr. Bustamante, do you know?
The last briefing I have is one of the officers has been interviewed fully about the incident. By Force Investigative Division, I also wanted to indicate that at the scene of the incident, the other people that come to that scene to monitor and make sure things are being done appropriately are my office. We respond immediately to make sure that people are separated, that evidence is being gathered, the people that the community are being talked to, whoever may be a witness, and also there's a representative from the district attorney's office that also shows up at every one of these shootings. It's automatic, both of us.
So has the shooter been interviewed?
Can you speak into the mic, Mr. Reed?
Has the shooter been interviewed?
I'm not aware whether that's occurred as of yet.
Thank you for your question. Could I have General Dawson, Adam Rice, Kim McGill, please all step forward?
If I could,
General Dawson.
Let me make two statements. Number one is I don't think there is anyone in this room that can't wait for the day that on-body cameras are on every one of the officers, and maybe on every citizen, because one thing that we all want is the truth. The second thing is, where's that dude with a Constitution?
Right here.
Come here. For that Constitution.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's from Mark Levin. This wasn't $7. That was $9. Everybody has the right to the Constitution. Not just people that are angry or people that are one side of the law or the other side of the law. So people, there is process that stems from your documents, sir. So you need to
a new one, sir.
Here, you're the one that bought it.
You don't know.
But the rules that we follow and the rules that you are all entitled to are the rules.
The butler killed the master.
Please, thank you. General Dawson, you have the floor, sir.
Correction, the name is General Dogan. And
my apologies.
Actually, my question was to Bonnie. Is he still here?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so Bonnie, my question is...
You can call me Mike.
Okay, my name is General Dogan, and I'm a human rights organizer on Skid Row, right? And the same thing, the same gentrification, the same moving homeless people out of downtown by using police force, using the businesses and stuff like that. That's going on in Skid Row is going on out in Venice. And ever since you've been taking Rosenthal place, you know, as city councilman out here, you've been working and supporting with the businesses. You've been working and supporting with the developers and with the LAPD, right? And you have been speaking against, you know what I'm saying, those, you know what I'm saying, who've been actually trying to end homelessness, right? So it's kind of funny for me to hear you tonight saying that you're willing to work with anybody that's willing to end homelessness. So my question is to you: if you really, you know, ready to work to end homelessness, then you got to first stop by criminalizing homelessness, right? And then you can make that step tonight by one, opposing the beach curse rule that's been going on, right? You can do another one. You can do another one by, for those that don't have nowhere to sleep, allow them to sleep in their vehicle out here in Venice. right? And 3, being a champion for building more affordable houses out here in Venice instead of mansions. Now, are you ready to do that?
I would say that all the folks in the city of Los Angeles, I am one of the ones who is most focused and most determined to end homelessness in Los Angeles. I'm the vice chair of our new committee on homelessness, and there are a whole slew of things that we are trying to do to end homelessness. You mentioned building permanent supportive housing. We need a hell of a lot more of it. One of the things that I actually just proposed last week is that whenever someone comes in here and builds an affordable unit in order to get a density bonus, that we see if we can require them to actually be part of the coordinated entry system from the county that gives people a fast track into housing. The county has a program called the Flexible Housing Pool. We're working with the county to try to actually get it here in Venice. So when our firefighters pick up someone who's in distress on the streets, they can get a fast track into housing. Right now, the closest place around here is Torrance. We need something in Venice. When you talk about criminalizing homelessness, I think you're talking about the curfew, you're talking about cleaning up our streets. We actually have to provide safety for the folks who are living on our streets as well as the folks who live here. When we have done cleanups on these streets, we have found hazardous waste, we have found feces, we have found urine. We need to clean up the streets for everybody. One of the things that we need to do, one of the things you asked about was the right to sleep on the sidewalks or in vehicles. One of the biggest failures in the history of the city of Los Angeles was 10 years ago when the city got sued. The city got sued and it was determined it was cruel and unusual punishment to tell people they can't sleep on the sidewalk if you don't have enough housing or enough shelter. And the city of LA took the easy way. The city said, fine, we're not going to build enough housing, we're not going to build enough shelter, we'll let you sleep on the sidewalks. I want us to fix that. I want us to overturn that, so when we have the ability to get out from that, the default position isn't you get a golden ticket and you get into one of the too few permanent supportive housing units in the city, or you sleep on the sidewalk. That's an unacceptable equation. I want us to start putting more money into shared housing, into bridge shelters, into emergency shelters, so that the alternative to being in the permanent supportive housing is there's a whole continuum of care. In the meantime, though, we are going to clean up our streets and our sidewalks when they're filthy and covered with trash.
So I hear you talking, you know, still. I mean, we got to work this out. We ain't gonna agree on everything tonight, but you are willing to work with organizations out here in Venice and talk to folks, you know, to make a change on this situation. Because listening to the business and what they've been doing ain't been working.
As long as you are willing to listen to the perspective of neighbors who also have concerns.
Yeah, I heard that. So I just want to make one more comment, and that is, it's a person that's missing from this table, and that's Jackie Lacey, the DA. She should have been here because we need to listen to the concerns of people in the community here tonight, because we need her to start prosecuting these cops. We need her to stand up and start doing what other states is doing. We don't have half the students in other states as we got in California, and there's nothing damn thing that's been done. So that's the person that's missing from here, and we need to see her at this next town hall meeting. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to call Danny Samaka, Mark Zokol, and
excuse me.
Also,
I'm just going to be really quick, and I really don't care about your list. I'm here in Venice with the homeless and the whole community every single day. I am not a born Venice man, but I love Venice just as much as everyone that loves Venice here. And I will stand up and take a bullet for every single one of you. But that's not gonna happen. I'm saying figuratively. Okay? Don't worry about me. I got this. Alright? Now that man that got shot, he was a good man and he didn't deserve it, and it was murder. Period. And we're not here to talk about the homeless. Venice is our home. We're not homeless. Okay? We are houseless. Understand the difference, okay? I'm an Army vet. I spent time in Iraq, okay? I've served this country here, And I was thinking about becoming an officer myself until I saw the injustices. Until I saw what that uniform that every one of you is wearing really represents.
Exactly. You guys
And I'm not okay with it because it's really blatantly civil terrorism. You're literally terrorists on our soil, claiming to be our protectors and servants. I don't see any servants around me. I don't see a protector around me. I see terrorists, period. And I want justice. You know what I want? I want this petition. This will be a petition, and I will go door to door in Venice. I want everybody that agrees with me to sign this petition to relinquish their rights to bear arms until they can prove to us, the people that they claim to serve and protect, that they are mentally stable to carry a firearm. Period. Or it's your badge. That's it. And we will send nothing less. This is Venice. And we are a focal point for the world. We are an energy source for the world. We are an ambassador of the world. People from all over the world come here and take notice of us, and we can't help but influence the world, period. So we have to do it the right way. And teamwork reflects leadership, and that's the last thing I'm going to say.
First on here it says LAPD training and the use of force and contact with the mentally ill. We don't want a police officer in the car. We want a professional mental illness person in that car who understands what the problem really is. I've worked for Venice Storage. Mike Bonham, directly to you. I work for the Venice Storage. We have 26 storage units in our small little area. We need, and LA has 1,600. We need more storage space. We need more storage space. There's a senior center over there that has not been used. And that needs to be opened up to the homeless so we can get something done and start working on the problem.
I just want to say that there's a lot of anger in the room. There's a lot of anger in the room because people want solutions. They're tired of the rhetoric, and they're tired of staged events. And the people who can fix the problem are in this room. So it's time to get serious about homelessness, about crime, and the things that are affecting Venice.
We need to see them as people just like us. The officers have to treat people on the street just like they would their brother, their mother, their son, just like that. It has to be the same thing. We need to get back, if we're going to talk about police, we need to talk about neighborhood cops that know the community knows them. You're busing Metro Division in here all the time. They don't know our community. Even the officers that are here don't know our community very well, and they are not trained well.
What specifically are we doing to help the LAPD understand the mentally ill in Venice? What are we doing now? What are the programs in place? What are we going to do?
Currently now, the officers who are assigned to the Venice Beach detail receive 4 days of training specifically on contacts with the mentally ill. Also, as part of the academy training, that is also figuring prominently in it because we clearly have to make sure that every single officer in uniform understands the difference between somebody who is experiencing the challenges of mental illness versus a situation where someone is under the influence or volatile because of other reasons. And we can clearly see how quickly the tide can turn when people cannot identify those differences. Do we have a long way to go in that? Do we have a long way to go in expanding that program? We do. But what's very key, and I'd like to have Lieutenant Bixler explain here today, is the Los Angeles Police Department was at the forefront of the creation of what we call the Mental Evaluation Unit. And I'd like Lieutenant Bixler to please just fill in some of those blanks, and then we'll follow up with you. We'll follow up with you. Lieutenant Bixler, could you please give some of the intricacies of what we do?
Absolutely. We actually have two. We have a response units that will go out with a police officer, like she said, in plain clothes, either a clinical psychological nurse.
Pardon, is this this like happening live?
This happens-
Is the police officer on the ground equipped to handle the situation?
Yes.
That's my question.
Okay.
My name is John Valentine. I'm a long-time Venice resident. And I'll tell you what it is. This police department and a lot of police departments, you need retraining. And I'll tell you the reason why you need retraining, because with all this modern technology, maybe you're 40 or 50 years behind. And if this police department can't train them, then you guys need outside help. But I don't want all you policemen to think that you're not trained in something. You're very quick to pull that gun out quick. And not only shoot, but to kill. And Mike, I got some things for you. You know, you keep talking about, yeah, we got a problem with homeless. Open up the bathrooms. Give them the respect. Remember, homeless people are people too, and give them respect. And listen to the community, because this is not the last. And I hope that when you guys do retrain yourself, because something's wrong, you're not doing it right.
Jaton made a couple points that she wanted me to address. So in terms of bathrooms, something that the city of San Francisco has done is they have converted old buses into portable showers.
I've been on Venice Beach for the last 15 years of my life. On the average day, there are over 200 homeless on the beach. 60% of them are women. 1/4 of them are children under the age of 21. I personally have suffered police abuse since I was 2 months old. When an authoritative figure in the city of Los Angeles shot my biological father in the back 4 times and got away with it. Until we placed suit upon them, my family, and they paid us. After that, by the time I was 25 years old, I spent $7 million of my own money in my own trust fund and gave it to the Coalition Against Police Abuse.
I'd like to ask one question, and this is to LAPD officers. How many LAPD officers in here are wearing a body camera tonight? Raise your hand. What body camera? Anybody wearing a body camera? Any LAPD officer wearing a body camera? Zero. One of the richest cities in America, we can't afford body cameras, and yet South Carolina, one of the poorest counties, have body cameras. Why don't we have body cameras? And if we had them, we would have the video faster, and we wouldn't be here arguing about what happened, because we would know what happened. And
my name is Kim McGill from the Youth Justice Coalition. We have several questions. One is that Brendon Glen is number 621. That's the 621st person that's been killed by law enforcement in LA County since 2000. That makes LA by far the leader in the nation in police killings of people, both unarmed and other people, where there's a lot of questions about why they died. And yet LAPD Commission, LAPD commanders, and all other law enforcement in LA County keeps claiming that our county is a model for the rest to follow. So our first question is, when are we going to get released to us who's the officers involved, who are the divisions involved, and who's responsible for each of these killings, and why none of them have been investigated and prosecuted? Number two, why is there a memorandum of understanding with the district attorney's office and all law enforcement agencies in LA County that they wait until LA police departments complete their entire investigations before handing over the investigation to the district attorney? That means instead of other cities investigating right away, we have to wait 6 months to a year, and then a cold case is handed over and the district attorney never investigates. Number three, why does LAPD need 53 to 57% of the budget? That bankrupts everything else we need. Our homes for people, housing, youth jobs. Just 1% of your budget is all we've been pushing for, which would give us 25,000 youth jobs, 50 youth centers, and 500 peace builders on the streets like these people have been calling for. And even 1% you can't do, but you can spend money on body cams, which we didn't ask for. You can spend money on surveillance and drones, which we didn't ask for. And finally, why is it that when there's victims, true victims, of police violence, they can get no victims assistance, no help with burial, no mental health services from the district attorney's office. And their families have to have car washes to bury their loved ones.
You know, that's good, these buses that we're going to convert into showers. You know, in 2003, I was elected to the Venice Neighborhood Council. It was called something different then. And we tried to get bathrooms open then. Come on. So, you know, that's ridiculous. We have bathrooms, and it's not just homeless people pooing and peeing. Because the bathrooms are closed and we don't have enough public restrooms for all of the people here. So I really am tired of hearing about that. Get a dang toilet open. Don't talk about poo or pee until you can get the toilets open. And gee, where are you going to put those buses? Because in 2010, they made it so an oversized vehicle can't even go in the beach lot, okay? So that's ridiculous. These beach lots we own, the city owns them, okay? The county runs them through contract, but we own these lots. We can tell them, open it up to the oversized vehicles. Oh no, here it is. I'm really tired of people. Oh, brother with the sign language, what is the sign for talking out of the side of your neck? Because that's what happens a lot of times when we talk about homelessness in the city of LA.
I had a question prepared, but I gotta be honest, you sort of blew my mind, Councilman. We're gonna clean up our streets of this trash and this feces, and when we have the resources, we're going to house everyone. I'm sorry, sir, but I'm gonna have to call bullshit on that. Look, so to you, Mr. Lynn, you said you're underfunded. We agree. But would you agree that $118 million on average per year used to criminalize homelessness that would help your agency quite a bit, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that help your agency quite a bit? That money? I mean, and I'm just talking, CAO's report said 69 to 80 million, but you got to remember that report did not include salaries. Which, by the way, how much are we paying for this? Because there is a lot of police in this room. Is the president coming? Look, $118 million a year to the LAPD is a waste of money. And that's just a little piece of the budget that the LAPD gets. And I love to look for sober up. You look like you're actually listening to me. I see that every Tuesday, and it's a lie. So, basically, can we get down to business? Mr. Lynn, we need you to push. Holler at us. We'll help you push. Where LA can, this is what we do. And LA can. Can LA can? Can Venice? That's what we're talking about. Brothers and sisters, $118 million just to police homelessness is a waste of resources. Besides the fact that we're paying for this ridiculous PR stunt that we're at right now. Every time the police shoot someone, we have to have a big town hall and you pretend that you give a shit what we think. Every time. And we pay for this town hall every time. I would advise next time, perhaps you should spend a little bit of that money, a little bit of that over $1 billion that the police gets in total every year out of the LA city budget on housing. So LA Can has actually come up as in the last murder in our community. After the police murdered Africa in our community, we came up with demands. And we want more money for the SMART teams. Beyond that, we want the SMART teams to be the first responders in every mental health situation. We want 10,000 permanent supportive housing units built. Permanent supportive housing units. Because in the 10 years SCI has been in effect, you said the worst mistake LA City made was the Jones decision, which allowed people to sleep on the sidewalk without being kettled into jails. The worst decision that the city of Los Angeles ever made was the Safer Cities Initiative, which just in the last 5 years has murdered at least 5 people on Skid Row. Not to mention in the rest of the city. We want power for the people. We want our money back. That's what it is, brothers and sisters.
Thank
and
you, Mr. Rice.
hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Mr. Rice.
And no, see that cut my mic. That's some bullshit.
Without resources, Mike Bonin knows. Without resources. No, they don't. Our churches support, Bishop can tell you, those that come to us for mental health, those that come hungry. It's the members, the parishioners of our churches without any government funding. We feed the hungry. We feed those that are hopeless. Those young people that sleep at our churches. We do it without any county or city funding. So to hear that resources are available, Bishop can tell you, I can tell you for 30 years that the churches solve problems every Sunday.
Where is the toilet? Where is the camping toilet? 6 years ago, you stood with Bill Rosendahl in this place and said that we were going to get toilets, that we were going to get services, we were going to get RV parking. Where have you done that? You're standing here, give us, I don't want an answer. We want results.
We all want answers!
Unless you're gonna just open some toilets tonight. Don't tell the churches to provide toilets. Unless you're gonna say to the people tonight that 300 homeless people are gonna have the right to have a place to piss tonight.
I'm a piss anyway.
Don't even open your mouth.
Can I ask a question? Thanks, David. Thank you for your continued passion in your position. I've known you for a long time. I would be glad to meet with you. I
don't want you to meet with me. I want you to meet with the homeless community, David. I want you to meet with the community of people that's organized by homeless people themselves. Don't you think after 2 years in office, it's time you heard from us, rather than just sending more police to this community?
I want to make a few comments about the general energy that's in the room tonight. One of the reasons that the crowd is so angry is they're seeing a lot of deflection from this group. We don't really want to center this issue around mental illness or homelessness. We're looking at a crime scene. That applause for you officials up here, that applause is about the fact that we feel injustice has been done in the community, and we don't want it to be deflected into alcoholism or homelessness or mental illness. That's by far down the list. And part of the reason why people are motivated to come out tonight is because they see this as not just a local issue, but a national issue. It's a police abuse issue. And what this is just simply an example of that. That's why Baltimore went in flames. That's why there was protests as far as Seattle for what happened in Baltimore. There's protests in New York, and there's protests in Chicago. So what's happening is we're seeing this as a part of a bigger problem in the United States, and the anger in this audience is based on the fact that they don't see it's being addressed that way. The anger in this audience is about police brutality, and this is being an example of it. It's great that you're doing an investigation. But what this audience wants to see is that the focus on a crime scene and a national issue that's about police brutality and police abuse.
Thank you very much. You made those points very eloquently. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
My father was a police officer in the community for 30 years, retired, and in 30 years, his claim to fame was in 30 years, he never once had to use a service which you all heard. Unbelievable. He's a community officer. Everybody that knows me knows him pretty well. He used to say, that's your dad, he's like the coolest cop in the community.
Mr. Bonin, again, now that Brendon Glen has been shot down in unarmed man, are you going to open up the bathrooms at night so that his brothers and sisters who are also in the house have someplace to go to the bathroom? And Chief Beck, who's not here, are you going to make that video public?
Show the video! In the history of the LAPD, in the history of hundreds of shootings for decades, how many police officers have actually been successfully prosecuted?
Pacific Division, I ask, I beg, I pray. Talk first. Taser later. Shoot none.
what we need to do is be smarter than that and show them as a population that our way of life is not aggression. Our way of life is understanding. We all need to come together, man, nationwide. This isn't a joke. This is America. Let's remember what we're here for.